Hello everyone, this is Turin here, and today guys I'm here with another Total War Warhammer live BattleCast. In this game we're going to be playing Norsca against the Dwarfs. So as far as our legendary lord goes, we do have Wulfric the Wanderer on his chariot. So as you guys know, Dwarves definitely have some trouble with chariots in general. It doesn't have the same AP values as like, let's say, a Gorby's chariot or a Razor Gore chariot, but nonetheless it still gives the Dwarves quite a problem. And it also allows you to line up some really good Seafangs. So you can actually start casting Seafang before you get to the enemy formation, and then do a little bit of a Tokyo drift around the flank, and it'll actually then cast in a straight line. Like I'll try and show you guys this game, but it works out pretty darn well. So aside from that, we do have a Metal Caster. Metal being pretty good against Dwarfs because we can give Plague of Rust, and then we can engage with our Berserker. So the Berserkers hit incredibly hard, they're unbreakable, but they have somewhat low AP values. So you can see they have 52 with a 39 to 13 ratio. But if you cast Plague of Rust, they can really tear through like Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards and pretty much anything else they encounter. On top of that, we do have two Hunters. So the Hunters are essentially there to deal with Gyrocopters. And even if they don't have Gyrocopters, they're pretty good against like Althar's Raiders and different things like that. And, they get the job done. The reason we don't bring the, these are not the Hunters, excuse me. Well, Marauder Hunters, yes, with Javelins. But they also have a variant without the Javelins, the Throwing Axes, who do have AP, but they only have 60 range. So with those, it's incredibly hard to like catch the targets you're looking for. Because again, the Gyrocopters have 100 range compared to what, the 40 or 60 of the Hunters, 40 or 60? I forget, I think it's 60. So you can't really like catch them efficiently. So what you do is you just cast Plague of Rust, and then you can throw, poke them out of the sky with the Javelins. It does just fine, especially with that nice, sweet anti-large bonus. So the Jaw we have taken up in the hills, they're probably hiding up here. I wouldn't be surprised, because you can get some really nice caddies. This is like a nice slope. You can just set up like Iron Breakers up here and like force them into a blasting zone right here, which is really tough. He might be like in the back corner, like up on this hill or something. Although we do have sight over there, so maybe my my Ice Wolf Hounds will find something. So also, I recommend bringing the Maw of Savagery. These guys are great. They have really high AP values themselves, and of course a classic Dawi hiding in the corner of the map. It always bums me out when I have to run to the edges of the earth. But if anyone's going to go on some, quest to hunt the ultimate prey, it's going to be the Norscans, right? So he does have a great weapon. So he definitely is on top of his game here. He has a good army against me. He has a bunch of Thunders, which are obviously going to be very good for shooting down Wulfric and all those other, threats. So I like his build quite a bit so far. He does have Thane, and for a Lord, he does have a standard Dwarf Lord. So he's going very wide. Anytime you see like a regular Lord, in pretty much any matchup, you can expect that they're going to be going quite wide. So we are hidden right now with these Norscan Ice Wolves. We can kind of just sit and chill in the forest until our other forces get here. We don't want to, get too crazy. So I think we can, we have enough room over here, so we can like run like through here anywhere. And let me go ahead and cancel that command. We want to stay hidden. So you can see setting up his Thunders here to kind of, poke me as I run there. Definitely getting a little bit, wild over there. But at least, we'll have a full metal reserve. That's one of the nice things about when the Dawi do deploy in the corner, is that by the time you get to them, you're going to have full Winds of Magic. Whereas if you start the fight with, like, let's say 19 or 20 or whatever Winds of Magic, the fight, may ever start with. The problem is then your diminishing returns are going to take effect. So if I casted a spell right now, it would go down to like 10, let's just say. And then the reserve would be 1 per 10 or 1 per 12. I forget what the scaling is on that. But again, you're going to be missing out on some Winds of Magic, just overall. So I'm definitely not bad in that respect. And he doesn't have any artillery, so I'm not necessarily being punished for this. It's just, it's just probably not as fun for you guys to have to wait for this this grand crusade across the map. So he was actually running some of his Dwarf Warriors in there to do a little bit of scouting, so he knows what's going on. So I might do a little bit of a deeper run, just go like up and around here. But regardless, I'm going to be taking some fire. So I wish I had some more mobile units to get like up and around, but I could send my Skinwolf homie right here. So he's really solid. If I can get him on the Thane or the Dwarf Lord or anything like that, and then cast Plague of Rust on those bad boys, it's going to be really strong. So again, he's getting even further in the corner, so hopefully we can bring the Wrath here and punish them for corner camping here. I mean, if you're looking at it from a competitive like tournament sense, yes, this is probably one of the more viable options for the Dawi to hole up in a corner. However, I think this terrain would have been pretty good. He could have like formed a battle line here and have this perfect slope to just gun me down. But this isn't bad either. He has a nice angle. I have to run through some open field to take fire. So, you know what? It might work out just fine for him. So we're actually going to try something a little bit funny. We're going to take Wulfric. We're going to run him into the forest here. We're going to try and get a fat Seafang like right down this line right here and see if he's, paying attention. So what we'll probably do is run the Skinwolf Werekin over there into the forest and try and like distract him a little bit, so he'll think we're doing some funny business over there. You can see he's rearranging his Thunders. So perhaps he forgot about these guys. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know, guys. So Wulfric's almost in position with his chariot. He does have 3 Seafang charges, so you can definitely get your money's worth out of that. We do have our big fluffy wolf coming around here, so we're going to try and get him onto some of those guns. We definitely want to distract our opponent. So what we're going to do is start running right now. So in running right now, he's going to see those guys. He's going to, immediately recognize something's going on. He'll probably start microing his guns in the back, and then hopefully he'll forget about the front line. So we're going to line up Wolfric right here. So we do have those guys going in, so he's going to be paying attention to that. So let's go ahead and drop this right here, and he does have a big firing line waiting. So we lost a few wolves. It's fine, but then Seafang is just going to come and do some fat damage right there. So that was solid, and, we know there's a big trap there now. Cool. So let's get this the skin wolf kind of running over here to engage on these guys, and in the front line we can go ahead and get this party started. So let's go ahead and just do a full cross engage here. We'll get these javelins throwing right on these guys, and these javelins can throw right on these guys. And for our skin wolves and other guys, we're going to go ahead and just get them engaged in the front line. And this skin wolf werekin, man, he is taking a huge beating, so I was not expecting that type of DPS. But regardless, we're going to do a little bit of a fleeing retreat right now, and we should be fine. So we can, anywhere we go, there's going to be some, serious pressure. Let's get these Norscan ice wolves and run them up and on over here. And this guy, we're just going to run back into the forest and let him regenerate for a minute. So Wolfric's going in pretty hot. We do have all our berserkers going in, as well as our Lore of Metal. So we can go ahead and cast, I don't know if we need to cast Transmutation of Lead, but we can get these skin wolves up here in the front. And man, he has a ton of stuff over here in the forest. So we'll charge those guys in, and Wolfric, we're going to go ahead and just run straight into these guys. So we're going to pop the Sword of Torgvald, as well as our different buffs here, and the Transmutation we need to cast as well. So we're going to cast this in the front line. So as long as we don't lose Wolfric, we should be okay. And the Maws of Savagery are coming in as well. We're going to try and get them re-engaged here, and let's get those Ice Wolves engaged now. And cool. So now we're kind of like shrouded in the forest here. Hopefully we can do some really aggressive cycle charging, and let's get these skin wolves back there. I think we're able to kind of collapse his front line a little bit, which is good. So we want to get some casting going on. So let's go ahead and cast right here and cast this bombardment. And now our Maws of Savagery, we're able to get in there. So hopefully we can really just start to, wreak some havoc on these guys. Also, we're going to cast the Seafang right here, which is going to hopefully pop both of those guys. Let's go ahead and run towards them. And the front line looks okay. We got our skin wolf werekin back here. He was able to heal up a little bit. But a very pitched fight so far, for sure. I just have to be very cautious. When he has this many Thunders, there's a lot of risk being taken, for sure. But we can leave the Maws of Savagery back here and keep them fighting. Let's check in the front line and see if we broke anything. And it looks like we did, so we need to push through here. We can't afford to just be kind of wasting our time. So we're going to push through here, move this guy right there. And Wolfric is taking a little bit of fire, but nothing he can't recover from. The Maws of Savagery obviously doing a good job, but man, they're taking a ton of gunfire. So we did get into the back line. So a lot of the Thunders are going to be compromised. Our Berserkers did well. I should have used Plague of Rust over there. But nonetheless, I think we're getting there finally, guys. So let's go ahead and cast Plague of Rust over here. We probably, do we want to use it on, we can use it on those Thunders just to burn them down a little quicker. Cool. So we're just riding around in the chariots now, and we have compromised his back line for the most part, which is nice. His Lord is there, but the Lord isn't going to be able to make that big of a difference, but we probably need to get back in here and just shut down these Thunders, because our our Maws of Savagery didn't last quite as long as we thought they would. Cool, so let's detach here. Let's run them over here, and also get my caster. We want to get him running over there as well. So cool. So Wolfric's getting in on the forest. He should be able to kind of shut down some of that missile pressure. And we do have we can use that Transmutation of Lead. Great. So that Dawi line there is collapsed. So let's go ahead and run over here and chase down some of these. But man, Wolfric is still just taking so much crossfire. This guy just has so much wild business going on. So we're going to cast the Seafang right there, which is going to give us a little bit of good pressure on the flanks. Skin Wolf Werekin, we can send him to deal with those Thunders. We do get that nice Seafang proc right there. So great. So honestly, I'm going to just run Wolfric over here, and I think the rest of my forces are in good enough shape that we can probably win without him. And we do have the Maws of Savagery back, so we need to get them engaged on some of these filthy Thunderers who are just wreaking havoc on me, man. We got some champions. Let's get them re-engaged here. These javelins can start, poking down this Thane who's a little bit squishy. And we have our caster. So let's get him into the forest, and the Skin Wolf Werekin should be able to rout off, quite a few of these guys. But yeah, wild fight so far. Cool. So Wolfric, we can just do some cycle charging on these Dwarf Warriors here. But really, we just got to put these Thunders down. They're just causing a ton of havoc on our line. Great. So he does have a pocket of Thunders back here, so let's send those guys there. And does he have any over there? I don't think he does. So let's just kind of go in here and polish all these guys off for now. Cool. So right here, we have some champions fighting against his leadership, but nothing to really worry about. We can Plague of Rust, but I think I'm just going to save it for now. Well, I totally forgot to be checking on Wolfric. He could have been taking a huge, huge beating there. And I haven't used the Hunter of Champions yet, which is a little bit noob on my part, but let's see if we can finish these guys off, get in there, finish them. Man, there's so much going on here. There's just so many groups of Thunders. But again, that's one of the, kind of whole ideologies about going so wide. Having a wide army like this is quite tough to deal with. So we just have our javelins lancing that Thane. That's so ineffective. But you know, whatever. They're getting the job done. We'll pop stand your ground here to kind of buff some of these champions, and let's actually detach the champions to deal with those great weapons. And what's his name? I was going to call him Norsca, but Wulfric the Wanderer can just stay on those thunders. Cool. So over in the forest, the Skin Wolf Werekin, we can get him finishing those guys off, and it looks like we were able to kind of polish off the last of his thunders and other guys over here. So let's get these berserkers onto the Lord. Right here, we can go ahead and just engage these guys in melee, and honestly, they'll probably be able to beat those dwarves. And Wulfric's doing a pretty good job. So let's actually have him go help out with the enemy Lord. We can cast a Plague of Rust, and then we can really, you know, start to just crack him down from there. So yes, we're going to overcast a Plague of Rust. We're going to do that on the Dwarf Lord, which is going to make these berserkers exponentially more effective. And from there, the Skin Wolf Werekin should be able to kind of tear them apart pretty good. Looks like a lot of the thunders are routing. We do have our javelins online, so let's get them. We can just get them in melee at this point. They actually don't have bad combat stats in melee, so they can do a pretty good job for you. Cool. So well played to my opponent. He had a nice little Dawi Helm's Deep. That was a ton of thunders. But, you know, that's one of the strategies. You go wide. You know, you get a Dwarf Lord, you get, you know, a single Thane, and then the Dwarf Warriors are dirt cheap. They're like 500. And they actually are very durable. They can trade somewhat efficiently with the Marauders. Granted, look how many kills these guys got. But really, he had a ton of stopping power there. So if I had gone a more monstrous Norscan army, like Mammoths or, you know, even Premier Warriors or anything like that, or like Throg, man, that would have been a real headache. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Very well played to my opponent, Stereos. Look forward to seeing you again on ladder. And guys, we'll be seeing you all soon.